Hey everyone, welcome to the Savvy Sales Lady Live. I'm your host, Christine Harrington, the Savvy Sales Lady. Today we're going to be talking about selling with soul. What do I mean by that? Well, the value of authenticity in sales is so important. You want to make sure that you're being genuine because when you're being yourself and real, you can build great connections and can have positive impact on your sales success. So be yourself, get comfortable in the sales conversation and be you. The role of emotional intelligence in selling is tip number 2. Now, what you want to do is be attuned to your own emotions and also the emotions of your clients or the prospects that you're helping build stronger relationships with and close more deals. You kind of walk a fine line here by when you're speaking to them, hearing the unspoken word or maybe the things that they're not readily making available to you in the sales conversation for a number of different reasons. Maybe they feel they're not quite comfortable to bear it all, or maybe they don't even know themselves the problems and issues, which is your job to help unfold those. Now, number 3 is the power of storytelling in selling. So, sharing compelling stories can make and help make connections with your clients and your prospects. This differentiates yourself from the competition. If you ever read my newsletter or on my newsletter list, I often tell stories about other coaching clients that have similar issues and problems that you might experience and how I coach them through that. So many times we need that comparison so that we can see how other people's stories can help our own. And then the 4th tip is the importance of empathy in selling. How easy is it for you to put yourself in your prospect's shoes and understand their needs and pain points? If you can, this can help you build rapport and earn trust. Too many times in my coaching practice, and when I'm listening to phone calls made by sales professionals, they kind of push the prospect instead of stepping into their shoes and listening and hearing how the prospect would hear them. That's why I'm a big fan of, before you pick up that phone to make a call, practice with your voice memo on your smartphone and play it back and hear how you can sound to the prospect. It's just a simple tip that I put in practice, well, when the smartphones came out years ago. And it has been an invaluable tool for me to play it back and hear how the prospect, how they hear me. There's tones you can actually change when you make the call to make it easier to hear you and also to be more friendly. Be more friendly and smile when you're talking. Number 5 is techniques for finding common ground with your client. So, how do you identify shared interests or experiences with your prospect to help establish rapport and build a positive relationship? Years ago, they taught us that you build relationships and rapport by starting the conversation, observing something in the client's office. Maybe you see that he's a golfer, or maybe he has a fish on his on his wall and he's a fisherman, and you strike up a conversation like that. Well, I never fished and I never played golf, so I never felt comfortable bringing those subjects up when I would see these things in the prospect's office. If I did, I would come across as inauthentic, and it would be obvious by questions he would ask me back. I had no idea what I was talking about. So instead of doing that, what you can do instead is get into the sales conversation and let the chit chat occur either at the end or as it unfolds during the sales conversation. Okay? So you also want to balance authenticity with professionalism. And how do you find that right balance between being genuine and maintaining a professional demeanor in a sales setting? So let me give you an example. A group that I coached, I've coached for this small business multiple times, and their client is the farmers. So naturally, they felt like that they could swear like the farmers and talk like the farmers. And I would always caution them not to do this. And one of my clients from years ago, one of his prospects kept dropping the F-bomb. And he said to me, do you think it's okay? I mean, he talks like that. Do you think it's okay for me to talk like that? And I said, no, I would not do it because he may be testing you. And so he went ahead on the next sales call, went into the man's office and started mirroring the prospect's coarse language with his coarse language, even though I told him not to do it. And within 5 to 10 minutes, the prospect told him not to come back because he didn't want him to talk like that in front of his staff. Yeah. So it may be fine for them to do it. Don't mirror back with that kind of coarse language. It's a real fine line building authenticity with professionalism. I always say, be friendly, but your words need to be professional. Another thing I want to caution you about is dude, or hey buddy. That might be fine with coworkers, but don't bring that into a sales conversation. I actually had some sales professional call me up, and I was expecting his call. And when I said hello, he's like, hey, dude, how long do you have today? And I quickly said, I am not a dude. And I hung up. It was just so offsetting to me and unprofessional. So how do you recover from setbacks in sales? Everybody wants to know that. How do you bounce back from rejection or disappointment in a way that showcases your authenticity and also builds trust? Well, you just admit your screw-ups. That's what you do. That's how you can recover, is to apologize and admit that what you said or what you did was wrong and or wasn't the right approach for the client or the prospect. So everybody always appreciates an apology, a sincere apology. So keep these 7 principles in mind when you are selling with soul. And if you have questions that you would like for me to address on our next Savvy Sales Lady Live, would you just drop me an email at Christine@ChristineHarrington.com, Christine@ChristineHarrington.com, and feel free to ask your questions and we'll address them in a Q&A in an upcoming Savvy Sales Lady Live. So until then, remember this: Sales is a journey, not a quick trip around the block. Have a savvy selling week. Bye-bye.